What if I told you that there is no delay between your desire and its fulfillment? That time is an illusion created by your rational mind in an attempt to explain the inexplicable. Today, I will prove to you why every manifestation happens instantly and why Neville Goddard was right when he said that time is a deception of the senses. Most people think of manifestation linearly. First the desire, then the technique, then the waiting, then the result. But reality works completely differently. Neville Goddard discovered a fundamental truth. The moment you enter the state of the fulfilled desire, when you feel yourself to be the person you want to become, in that very moment, your desire is already fulfilled. Not will be fulfilled, but already fulfilled. It sounds like a paradox, so let's break down the mechanics. Goddard taught that two worlds exist: the world of Caesar, the physical world we see, and the world of divine imagination, where everything already exists. When you imagine something, you are not creating it. You are tuning into a reality that already is. Imagine radio waves. All stations broadcast simultaneously right now. When you switch from one station to another, you don't create a new transmission. You simply tune into a different frequency. Manifestation works the same way. All possible versions of your life exist simultaneously. Your imagination is the frequency switch. But then comes the important question. If manifestation is instant, why don't I see the result right away? Goddard's answer is brilliant in its simplicity. The physical world is a shadow, a projection, an echo of what happens in imagination. There is a natural delay between an imaginal change and its physical reflection, just like the delay between lightning and thunder. The lightning has already struck. The thunder is inevitable. Only distance determines the timing. Goddard called this the bridge of events. The moment you accept your desire as a fact in imagination, an invisible bridge begins to form, instantly and completely. You don't see the whole bridge because your physical senses are limited, but it is already built. Everyone who must play a role has already received their unseen script. Every event is already arranged. Your only task is to walk this bridge by taking the obvious steps that appear in front of you. Goddard said, "An assumption persisted in will harden into fact, not might harden, will. It is a law as unbreakable as gravity." So why don't all manifestations succeed? Because most people do not persist in the assumption. They create a perfect imaginal scene and then destroy it with doubt. Like planting a seed and digging it up every hour to check if it grew. The seed would sprout if left alone. Constant checking kills the process. When you enter the state of the wish fulfilled, you literally become a different person. Your frequency, your vibration, your inner radiation changes. Reality starts rearranging itself around this new version of you. But if an hour later you return to the old state, you cancel the reconfiguration. Neville gave the famous ladder experiment. Imagine climbing a ladder. Feel the rungs. Feel the upward movement. But during the day, repeat, "I will not climb a ladder." Within 3 days, every student would find themselves in a situation where they had to climb a ladder. Why? Because the imaginal act was done with the feeling of reality. The bridge of events was built instantly. This leads to a revolutionary understanding. There are no big or small manifestations. Creating $1 million is no harder for imagination than creating a cup of coffee. Difficulty exists only in your beliefs. Goddard taught a technique to remove the time delay, the "I remember when" method. Instead of visualizing a future desire, you imagine remembering it from an even further future. I remember when I wanted that job, and now I've worked there for a year. This places the desire in the past instantly, as if it already happened. Neville said the spoken word has creative power. So let's perform a collective act of creation. If you have a desire you accept as fulfilled, write one word, fulfilled, not as a hope, but as a statement of fact. Most people miss this. Neville emphasized naturalness. When you truly have something, you don't obsess over it. You have hands, but you don't think about them every second. Your fulfilled desire should feel the same. It simply is. That's why he emphasized sleep. When you fall asleep in the state of the wish fulfilled, you spend 8 hours in this new reality without interference from the conscious mind. 8 hours of imprinting a new version of yourself. In the morning, you wake up literally a different person. Goddard said signs follow those who believe. When the subconscious has accepted your desire, the external world starts bombarding you with confirmations, symbols, conversations, people connected to your desire. This isn't coincidence, it's reality reorganizing itself. But the trap is seeking signs. Seeking equals doubting. If you know something is yours, you don't look for proof. Neville redefined time. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously. Your consciousness is a point of attention moving through them. In imagination, you can move this point anywhere, even rewrite the past. That is the revision technique. Take an unpleasant event and replay it as you wish it had happened. This is not delusion. It is a literal change of the past at a quantum level. A changed past creates a changed present. Live in the end. Do not visualize the process of getting the desire. Visualize the moment where it is already yours. If you want marriage, don't visualize the wedding. Visualize a moment a year after the wedding, when the marriage is simply part of your life. Neville insisted on imagining from the first-person perspective, not watching yourself as an observer, but seeing through your own eyes, feeling with your own body. This is the difference between fantasy and creation. Here is the final truth that changes everything. Goddard said, God is your own wonderful human imagination, not an external force that may or may not grant your wish, but your own creative power. There is no one who can deny your desire, no karma to repay, no worthiness to earn, only law, assumptions hardening into fact. When you truly grasp this, fear disappears. Why fear if you can rewrite any situation? Why worry if any desire is simply a choice of state? Manifestation is instant because the moment you imagine the act, you become the version of yourself who already has it. The physical world is just the echo catching up. That's why Goddard said, walk as though it were, not pretend, be. Because at the deepest level, you already are the person you imagine yourself to be. The physical world simply hasn't reflected it yet, but it will. It must. It is already happening right now as you hear these words.